And the toy.
Straight off?
Hi, cheers.
Alright?
Yeah, he said you were coming.
I would shake your hand, but you got two cameras there.
Do finger shake.
Yeah, finger shake, pinky shake, I thought we do.
They're at the police station, by the way. That's where
Fancy
the
park
yeah.
ones, yeah.
They walk down there.
Everyone subscribe to Street Talk anyway.
Yeah.
Watch him.
Cheers.
Yeah, the police, Nottinghamshire police moved them, didn't they? That's what Michael
No,
was saying.
they didn't feel safe, so they've gone straight up there. They're pretty terrible. Last time it got, normally they separate them, but it nearly got violent. But they've said that according to their post, they're not going to go down. So I don't know if they will or not. That Nadine MP might turn up. She did last time, but I didn't spot her. Yeah, that Nadine one, the Labour one.
Oh yeah.
She's pro this side, so she might do.
As we say, I'm impartial with all of it.
Well, that's me as well.
If anyone has to say, there was a whole thing in the previous one about puberty blockers for children. I'm not sure whether that's being mentioned this time, but
there's loads of violence against people like that.
I think that's changed. I think this is more about trans people being treated as equals in a sense, which is a good narrative to have. Everyone should be treated the same, I think, from which background they come from. So, I think that's not really a non-impartial thing to say. I think that's just a human thing to say, to be honest. Everyone should be treated equally no matter where they come from.
I think there's about the same amount of people as last time.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there would be, with it being a Friday. I keep thinking it's Saturday, it's weird. Yeah. He's trying to intimidate, I think, but he did last time, it's no big deal.
Well, the picture being taken about a nice trip now, so I don't mind.
No, I don't think anything will happen today, but...
Public place as well, so we can take their picture, they can take their picture.
Yeah, that's it. She normally does the leads one, so Milo, the photographer, might be here. That'll be interesting. Can you see the ginger-haired one?
Oh yeah.
She does the leads ones a lot, but she normally, so Milo might be here. But last time I think you were doing a court case.
Come down from Leeds.
Well, she does. Photographer.
I haven't seen one of these rallies done in Wales for a while.
Well, it's Cody Parker, you see, that's all they've come for.
Well, they did to London, didn't they, before?
Yeah, but they've quietened off from that, they don't bother.
Well, it was a handful of them turned up at Hyde Park, didn't they?
Yeah, but not as many. I think they've got ball going now. But she did one in Manchester or Oldham. No one turned, there was no one that. But Sheffield, that's when it kicked off a bit. When she did Leeds, they had the riot police separating everyone.
Sheffield, did she get milk chucked over her or something?
Yeah, they only soup it. It's because in, I forget where it is, I think it was Australia, somebody souped her. So they've like they've got it in their head.
People have got a right to peaceful protest, but they haven't got a right to throw milk on someone is assault.
Well, the trouble is, you see, all the press and all the news call her an active because some Nazis apparently turned up to a protest. So that it was.
Too wrong, so make just because they don't disagree with what she's saying doesn't give them a right to go throw a soup over her.
No, but it becomes like they think it's. I mean, the guy who ran off, I don't think expected the car.
Same with grabbing our cameras and trying to.
Yeah, you just got to be careful. That's why I cover more than one, but.
You've got a right to freedom of expression to say what you want to say. But
yeah.
You've got a right to go grabbing things.
No, but people think they do.
Byron House police station.
It's just follow us. It's just you go down there, turn right. Yeah. I presume that's someone.
That's where that cop who what's her name? Vincent Mossay's the one who threatened me with a Section 35.
You see, Marty couldn't go to it last time. He couldn't go. He's not allowed to go to the police station. So, and it's like when it becomes.
She has ran with her tail between her legs. She is a grifter and a sorry excuse of what she called a woman. The people she calls a collective, they want us dead. We're not going anywhere.
Said I have to, but they've advised me to stay away from the Cardiff-Palestine protests at the moment.
Alright, yeah, well, they're playing silly devils with Marty over.
We've had to breach the peace. It's basically an ongoing thing with one of the protesters who assaulted me, and the police have said
they take everyone else's side. That's quite strong.
The police said we've given him a caution and everything.
Yeah, boo-hoo. Yeah, instead of just nicking him.
Well, they nicked him and then they let him go.
Yeah, that's what they all do. Well, one of them in Manchester, in Devon filmed her, assaulted a policeman, whacking him, nothing. So it becomes
quite heated, doesn't it?
Well, she's from Leeds, I think. But
first time I covered one in Leeds was like that.
It's Manchester's quite friendly, to be fair. Leeds, it's just full of people of bigots and horrible.
I remember that's where I met you anyway the first time, because,
and that's so long ago when you think about it. So much has changed since then.
The government and media of our country listen to groups like the LGBT Alliance and campaign against anti-Semitism only represent wealthy social services and claim to be listening to the voices of our communities. They want to borrow legitimacy, claiming that damaging actions or negligence reported by us and our communities as they are harming. They want to claim that they're listening to us, ready to hear us, to let us hear us. That's all I'm going to say. Thanks very much.
Free Palestine.
White African. Who was he? What's her name?
People from Palestine. That's correct. That's saying that people from Palestine they went to give them back to the our process. Be a limited talk. Nothing else is the place where you go. You care about you. And it's so happy.
Where's your card?
But they got through it, and we're going to get through it as well, alright? I love
Because I thought it'd make an interesting little vid just to see if they're doing anything, but...
Filming that, someone's getting a car lifted.
Are you off to Birmingham after?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You could have given it, if we'd known, you could have given us a lift.
You could stand on there straight up. You could stand on there.
Yeah, but I don't know how long it is before it's going to go to the other side.
Well, they might. They said they were
We're just going to stay here. How are they?
I think they had someone mention a march. I'm not sure.
Well, originally we were going. That's Milo, by the way, with a beard. I don't know if you saw, he was chatting to. You see the guy with the picture he's got a beard? Find a picture, that's Milo. Yeah. Yeah, he's off to Birmingham afterwards. I thought he was here, but he gets picked off as well. He's alright. Oh, yeah, our hero. It looks better when he's shaved. It looks, don't suit him that beard, but I'd say he's still here. What we're gonna do? Stay or walk down to the other one?
It's 12 o'clock now. There's just speeches here now, isn't it? Should we walk down?
Yeah, might as well. We can always come back. We're gonna wander down, so yeah.
I don't know whether they're marching or not.
Well, they posted they weren't going to, but
What are you doing? You staying here? You walking down?
I might walk, yeah, I might walk out, always walk back, can't we?
yeah.
Yeah, let's go have a look at the other one.
I bet they're not going to like that. Let's go to this one. We're coming back on it.
To be honest, this time they seemed friendly. Last time it was really aggressive. Oh, no wonder she couldn't do it there, but yeah, they were all... I don't know if that guy in the... is the same one who gave me grief. The one who's in the high-vis vest. He came up to me and started bailing, oh, they're coming down, the lads, to get you. I thought, you're an idiot. It's that football thugs. No, that one chance, he's just one of them thugs who thinks he's left wing. They go round, they use it as an excuse to be violent. Oh, no, these are, well, there's a lot of people who use this left. They're just thugs, but it's a way of being thugs and trying to be acceptable as a thug.
I was telling them I'm impartial, I don't take sides.
Yeah, but they don't want to hear that. They want to hear that they're on the right side regardless. And everyone else is evil.
I like to take everyone's opinions on board.
Yeah, but...
That's what I'm saying, that's what journalism is.
Yeah, but they don't accept that. Unless you're nice and middle class, then they don't mind. If they see you as something else, and even though we've been doing this, I mean, it makes me laugh. All these, you know, it's like, you know, like the pro-Palestine ones. Even now, they're still plonkers. Even today, blocking the camera. Just then, when she was stood in front, why? It just makes you look stupid.
It's like they're the same, like
Yeah. What is it achieving except making people just think you're idiots? I know, and I'm just thinking, well, you know, what is it? You're in public. By definition, it's a public event. You'd want the public to see it. I mean, I always, you know what annoyed me was when they did the trans thing in Leeds. We turned up, right? Now, the day before they had,
What's your name? Michael, I'm Claire. Nice to meet you.
Going to the Cozy Parker event.
What is it? What is it? Oh, there. Let women, yes. Put me on the camera. Let women speak. Yes.
So
Do you
we're
know
going
why?
back?
Because we are the nurturers. Oh, it's a camera one.
yeah, they might
Oh, we're going
walk
to be on your
up.
video.
It's live now, yeah.
Oh, is it? God love you all. We love women
I
empowerment.
am as well. Yeah.
Suffragettes. You know about them? Back in the day, the suffragettes.
We're going through all the things.
What's your name?
Yeah, they moved that ages ago. That's why we're up there.
Yeah, I watch all you guys. What's in Britain is what I always watch.
He's brilliant.
Is he? I live here. Tap it. Could be a tap it. What do I use to tap this? Where's your guys?
On the back.
Off back.
Popped up.
Who do you know that you like
What was he calling his name?
AB.
AB, yeah, but he uses the...
Yes,
that
baby.
thing.
Oh, Alejandro.
Alejandro, yeah, that's it.
What's your name,
I'll
Serena?
do it.
Yeah, so you're going to a protest at there? For women's rights?
joke, you miserable son.
It's not as funny as you think.
I am hilarious. I am hilarious. You will laugh at my jokes. You will laugh at my jokes. I am hilarious.
Woke up on the wrong side of bed this morning.
This gimbal's really knackered. It's groaning now, the air motors. 80, but they only lasted so long, but it's been bashed so many times that the motors are sort of whining, so you can hear it bashing around.
I used to have one and it just packed in.
Well, I mean, this has lasted longer than I think they're supposed to, but I've used this so much that I think I've more than got money's worth out of it. And I have bashed it, and this silly woman in Leeds hit it really bad. She grabbed it, and I don't think that helped. Well, I stopped for ages. I got sick of it. I couldn't be bothered. I started doing Manchester. I couldn't stand them because they're so abusive. That I got to a stage I thought I could do. Yeah, and you get more action out of it, but well, the thing is, they're stupid because all they should do is just hi.
Is it busy down there?
Yeah,
It's worth going down.
Yeah, what is it? There's a transport.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're coming up here. That's the thing.
Yeah. I'll be down there in a bit.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
So that's them over there. That's the police station. Can you see? Oh, I think that's fixed it. She's moved it a bit. Let's go across. That's the police station. Oh, you can see Mike. Are we going wrong here? Don't know if we can get over.
Can we get through?
Probably not.
So closed off, all this cars coming now. Oh. We get run over in a minute. What do we get? Can't get through
Yeah. Cheers. Oh, cheers. That's great. Cheers.
You know which way up?
Yeah, sound is reversed.
I've been chipped out of the school governors.
Like our media crew now, huh?
As an English teacher, I disagreed with teaching pronouns for grammar. And I have to say as well, I did stand for whether or not anyone agrees with it. I did stand for one party to have free speech. Unfortunately, I've been chipped out. They are misogynistic. They don't want women in there. You look, there's not many women. I joined for free speech. There is no free speech. I'm not on about the small party now. But us women need to still stand together and get this message out. And that's why I'm here. And I'm going to stand for changing education and getting all the wokeness out.
That's good, isn't it? Just stood there and took
can I just say as well to the TRAs who think they won? Yeah, no. The idea is with Let Women Speak is that women can speak. What a sideshow that you provide on occasion, where you try and stop us from speaking, all that does is kind of a Barbara Streisand effect where more and more people come and have a look at what Let Women Speak do. And we always get massive hits on our social media and all the places that broadcast this. Because when you come, it's a spectacle. And so we win that way too. And then when you don't come and women get to speak, we win that way. And so we are, Let Women Speak, agree that you have the right to speak, you even have the right to protest, but you don't have the right, and you shouldn't be permitted to prevent us from speaking. Because we're not going to come and, well, we wouldn't want to, but we're not going to come and try and stop you from talking. You can say your silly ideas, and everyone can hear exactly what they are, and we can all listen to you make arguments as to why it's a good idea for a 50-year-old bloke to be in the changing room with our daughters. And everyone else can hear that that's ultimately what your goal is, to erase all the boundaries around women's spaces and all the safeguarding around children. So we want you to speak. We want everyone to hear what you say. We just want the right to be able to do that too, and we would like the police to protect our right, and that is what the police failed to do last time. And so that's why we're here again today. So whilst you have your lovely little gathering at Bryan Club, I hope that every passerby stops and goes, oh, I wonder what this gathering of really reasonable, rational, decent-looking people, I wonder what that gathering is all about. And then they can hear that you just want everyone to believe that women have penises, that men have vaginas, that non-binary isn't some sort of attention-seeking, middle-class, lunatic, fringe identity. And that transitioning children is like a wholesome, wonderful thing to do. To eradicate the safeguarding around child spaces is a great thing to do. And to obliterate the sexual function of children and their fertility is something that's stunning and brave. So I hope that Nottingham got to hear all of you today, because that makes my job a hell of a lot easier, and that means your ideology is eradicated from public life as soon as humanly possible. Okay, who else would like to speak? Hello, hello, hello. There are many reasons to love this woman.
Short and sweet today. Nottinghamshire Police are proud to introduce our first ever thought crime amnesty. With hurty words at an all-time high, it's our duty to stamp out hate. Please deposit your thought crimes in the designated sin bin. Thank you.
I thought very bad thoughts on my way. I thought that grown men would pretend to be women and go into women-only spaces. That's what I was thinking. Did anyone else think? I also thought women deserved rights. Like terrible. With fear and favour. I don't believe there's a single man that gets his hands dirty on a daily basis for a job thinks that women have penises. I find that just totally, those two things. Oh, also, plumbers obviously deeply transphobic. Have you ever heard of all the plumbing terms? They're all bodily function kind of penis and vagina things. And so now that Lego is transphobic, heteronormative, I can't wait till they have a go at plumbers. And that your plumber comes around your house and you have to say to him, can you make sure you say like nuts and bolts and not, I don't even know the terms, but they're all euphemisms, aren't they? They're all male and female parts in plumbing. So can't wait for transphobia to hit the trades. I think that could have done really, really well. Scaffolders, they're all over it, aren't they? The scaffolders are all so woke. You know when you see them at the side of the road throwing things like with their muscles out and their tops off.
I always think, I bet they're really woke, all those blokes.
Anyway, who else would like to speak? Yes.
Well, I'm a plumber's daughter, so I know all about that. I've recently read on X about what it's like to navigate life as an adult female, about how tiring it is to be constantly vigilant, to be viewed as a prey animal by the males of your own species, to live as the sex that has evolved a high compatibility from the strangest sex first in something. But when we encounter a man in the pub or in a gentleman's what we call perfect life without easily in our fingers, is looking out for us and waiting like tactics. That threat is not to diminish as we become older and unattractive as males. Men make holidays and visit children. It's the assertion of power and competition on sex. In fact, having 3 daughters, my awareness of that threat has only grown. I'd like to give an excerpt from a poem by Martin Piercy, who unfortunately I think has gone over to the dark side. But thankfully, we can separate the art from the artist, sort of like Steve Osborne used to, you know. It's called Break the Code. There is no difference between being raped and being pushed down a flight of cement steps, except that the wounds also bleed inside. There is no difference between rape and going head first through a windshield, except that afterwards you're afraid not of cars but of half the human race. Fear of rape is a cold wind blowing all the time on a woman's hunched back, never to stroll alone on a sand road through the pine woods, never to climb a trail across a bald without the aluminium in the mouth when I see a man climbing towards me, never to open the door to fear the dark side of hedges, the backseat of the car, the empty house, rattling keys like a snake's warning, the fear of the smiling man in whose pocket is a knife, the fear of the serious man in whose fist is locked hatred. I hope this poem goes some way to explaining why we are so passionate about keeping men, however they identify, out of our spaces.
I don't think men, even really decent men, of which there are many who do understand this issue, but I don't think we can ever convey the feeling that women get when there is a male voice in a space where it is not expected or welcome. And when you're in that space and you hear that male voice, you pause, you breathe shallow breaths, if at all, until you hear that threat has disappeared. Now, this doesn't happen where we rationalise this. This is not rational, this is instinct. This is, I believe we are all born with this instinct as females. We have those nice little XXs that carry down messages through generations, and I believe it's a fine home skill. It's a bit like you never see a mouse pause and think, is that a friendly cat? And it's exactly the same thing. We do feel like prey because we are physically vulnerable to men. And it's not because we think you're all going to do it, boys. We just don't know which ones. Which ones will and which ones won't. Usually the ones that won't do, I'm so sorry, I'm so high. I've just found myself in it. I'm really sorry, I'm gone. It's the ones that push their way in. It's the ones that come in uninvited. And please, for the love of God, women, please do not invite men in our space. Don't invite teachers who call themselves Mrs. Men, male teachers who come back to work, or men who call themselves Katie John. Don't be telling them that it's all right for them to come in, because it's not your space to give away. But we just hear it, and before we know it, we're just paused. Our life pauses until we can hear the threat has disappeared. And I don't think men do that. Maybe men do more of the fight rather than the flight or the pause. And can I just say, there is another method that we have, or response. There's fight, flight. I think many of us are fighters in this movement. Flight, and there's fawn. And fawn will be all the women gathered around Brian Clough. They'll be the fawn. They'll be the women that see the threat and interpret it as something that they can get away with by aligning with the threat. And there's a woman in Melbourne who remains like one of my favourite ever speeches I think I've heard in my life, let alone in this movement. And she talks about, be careful with the pitchforks that you wield as they are turned upon you. And I can't say it as well as her, because for a start she's got an Aussie accent. But I can't say it as well as her, but that expression, that thing that happens to women where they're all like, just say no to these men. If you think you can trust them, just say no. And then you find that man just reveals himself quicker than you can say trans maiden. So, okay, who else would like to speak? Yes.
Hi, my name's Ruth, and I spent 18 months fighting from within to stay in an organisation that I love doing this. I was a breastfeeding counsellor first with Lolette, and then a trustee for a year. We spent 12 months trying to stop the support of males being included in that organisation wanting supposed breastfeeding support. If there is one area that you would think would be safe from this ideology, it's maternity and breastfeeding. The idea that anyone should think that the support of to support a male to induce lactation and to supposedly breastfeed a child is anything other than child abuse is just beyond belief. But that is what has been happening and is still happening. There's a group, as I say, who fought and fought from the inside. We had amazing support from people like you who went to unions and they couldn't speak up to start with. Then initially, back in May, just under a year ago, a group of us was suspended just for talking about it within the organisation. That hit the news, might have been because I spoke to a journalist. Then after that, they tried to kick us out from within. Eventually, we had our accreditation as breastfeeding counsellors removed for saying that the inclusion of males in this organisation was in conflict with the charitable objects. That's why we were kicked out. That is still the case, but the Charity Commission failed and is still failing utterly to prevent the theft of a charity. That is what is happening, and that is what happens when women don't say no. We're still fighting, but we're putting our energy elsewhere now. We're setting up a new organisation. It's a mother-to-mother breastfeeding organisation. We're going to be going public soon. When that time comes, give us some money. And yeah, keep going, please. Thank you.
That's the answer. If your organisation doesn't serve you, then we have to make new ones. I guess that's what they did in the beginning, is something wasn't working, so they started these organisations. And let me just say, every single commission, like before the charities were captured, the Charity Commission was captured, so that you've got no place that you can appeal these things. That's what clever very determined activists do when they want to destroy your rights is, first of all, they take away your right to appeal it. And can I just say, for police officers watching, and I hope you are, if you're really sick and tired with the woke pride parade nonsense that your police force is engaging in, there is an organisation, it's not perfect, but it's probably better than the unions that you may or may not have. It's called SEEND, it's called SEEND. And what they do is they provide a place where you can talk about what's happening to the police force. I happen to know an inspector in a police force down in the southeast who has to ask a colleague on a daily basis how they identify today. Like, these are police inspectors, they've got more to do than worry about whether or not somebody's he, she or they on a daily basis working in their organisation. And you'll find that in every organisation there's this nonsense where people paid far too much money, and I'd be interested to see how much DEI is spent on in the police force, because it won't be about building ramps and disabled access. It will be specifically for the big fat T. That's what it's all for. So if you're a serving police officer and you think your pension is worth far more than serving a population of entitled, jobless, work-shy, privileged people who want you to bend to their every whim, who want you to call them a woman when they're clearly a man, if you want to stop that, and you want to stop your chief constable, and this chief constable, let me just say, every chief constable in the country has to decide whether a man is allowed to search a female suspect, and Nottingham is one that said yes, that their male officers is allowed to search a female suspect if that male officer says he's a woman. Now, do you know how many police forces don't allow that? Have a guess how many chief constables said, I will not allow female suspects to be searched by men. None. Not one. Not one. And it's all the remit of the chief constable. And why is that? Because we've got a government who is too cowardice to do it. We've got government after government, whether it's Labour, which I'm sure is going to be far worse than the Conservatives on this issue, but the Conservatives put it into practice. Because a man in 2012 took his police force to court saying that it wasn't fair that he wasn't allowed to put his hands down a woman's knickers like the female police officers, and that was seen as part of the European Court of Human Rights and his right to be able to do that under employment law in this country, but also backed by the European Court of Human Rights, which is why Party of Women would like to leave all of it. I'd like to evaporate the Equality Act. I think we should get rid of the GRA yesterday, and I also think we ought to leave the European Court of Human Rights. And I'll just say one thing, if the European Court of Human Rights genuinely stood up for the people at the bottom, say somebody was imprisoned for, I don't know, 2.5 years for a Facebook post, the European Court of Human Rights could be used to protect that person, but it isn't. It's used to protect rapists who maybe are alcoholics so they can't go home to Pakistan after they've raped someone. That's what the European Court of Human Rights is for. It's to protect people who shouldn't have any protection whatsoever. Okay, somebody else had their hand up. Come.
Drop the camera up there as well.
Did you see that bloke? You know, he's gone white hat on pretending to be a workman. Didn't you notice him? I think they've sussed him out.
I would like to read out
He's
a
definitely
poem.
not a
I
workman.
should explain it's not my own poem. These are not my own words. This was actually written by a lovely local woman who can't speak here today. And the reason she can't speak here
if you look, everyone else has got proper
fear
jackets
losing her
on,
job
they
if
just
she
had a green one.
did. She works for one of the local universities, and of course our local universities, our universities all over the UK still do not let women speak. And I should know what I'm talking about because I have lost my job at a university for knowing what a woman is. So while our universities don't let women speak, it's my honour to read this poem on behalf of this woman who can't speak here today. Here goes. A chilling effect. We will look back with horror. Mutilated bodies, big pharma profits, lifelong harm. Nadia Whittam, listen up. There is no safe space. Where are my allies? Where are my rights? I have been raped, I've been harassed, I have been traumatized. We will look back in horror as our children learn a body is a body. A disabled child, a neurodivergent child, a non-conformist, nobody was born in the wrong body. I reserve the right to be my teenage self, wanting to be a boy. I reserve the right to short hair, overall, boots. I reserve my rights. At 19, harassed on the streets, fucking lesbian! I reserve my right to present as I like. I reserve the right to be a mother. I reserve the right to know when my child is distressed. I reserve the right to know a symptom from a cause. I reserve the right to protect and to care that her needs were ignored. I reserve the right for us to have women-only spaces. I reserve the right to have my own ideas. I reserve the right to trust science. I reserve the right to know. I reserve the right for us to be the bodies that we are. I reserve my right not to be harassed. I reserve my right. I reserve my rights.
Who else would like to speak? Yes.
Okay, thank you. I recently started listening to a podcast by Laura Richards. Some of you may know her, but I've only just come across her, and I come across her by accident. Listening to, I watched a Netflix programme, nothing to do with violence against women, and then I ended up listening to this, and then when you're driving along in your car, it just kind of switches. And I've been listening to, she's called Crime Analysis, but I've been listening to the Yorkshire R word. I'm not going to say it because she says we shouldn't say it, and there's good reasons for that if you listen to the podcast, but it's called The Forgotten Victims. And obviously the Yorkshire R word was 50 years ago, and listening to it, you get a really good feeling for the police incompetence and their disdain for women, and they're not listening to women, and they're not taking women seriously, and not looking at the evidence before their eyes. And here we are, because they didn't listen to us last month, that, you know, we're going to get surrounded, they're going to, you know, they're not going to let us speak, we're not going to have free speech. But she really is worth listening to. She actually helped bring in the stalking and coercive control law in this country. She's a renowned international expert, and it's not something I normally listen to because I'm a survivor of long-term domestic violence, and it can be quite triggering. So, you know, you do need to listen with caution. But it really does bring it home that the police just don't take women seriously. We are victim blamed. You know, we're asking for it. You come on the streets, well, it's your own fault. You know, when we were at that when we were at our event last time, the stock response that many of us were told when the police came was they've got a right to protest.
What time do you make it?
And I know because several women were told that. And it's just pure incompetence. We know, we're not stupid, we know they've got a right to protest, but we've got a right to speak and be on the streets and gather as women. And that's really what I wanted to say, but you know, 50 years ago and nothing has changed, and they're still being that guy.
And that lady is one of the reasons that it's called Let Women Speak. Because she came to the first meeting up here where we were protested. But it is interesting. I mean, I don't know if you all read the tribunal where when my name was said, it was booed and hissed by a training room of Metropolitan Police officers. I just want to remind everyone, I was really happy in my very small life with my 4 kids and my husband. I didn't even do housework. Like, I really lived quite a mundane, but blissful, happy, uneventful life. And then I learned that there were men in women's spaces and women were supposed to be okay with that. And not only that, but we were supposed to call them women. And at first, when I first heard of this in 2015, they were still called trans women, and the idea of them calling themselves female was too batshit crazy even then. And now what? Now we have to believe that they're biological and they call themselves women, therefore they're biological women. And then I found out, so in 2015 I found out this was happening. Then I find out that they're transitioning children, that they're robbing children of their fertility, that there's a huge industry. Then I find out that our councils are involved, our government is involved, our schools are shoving this down kids' throats, our police are involved. And I just decided to do something about it. And what I decided to do was sell some stickers and some t-shirts on my kitchen table. And I was like making £1 or £2, £1 or £2 a time to raise enough money to put up a billboard in 2018. Like, that's what I did. I didn't set out to go and like harass some men. I didn't set out to make anybody's lives miserable. I didn't set out to cause anyone any harm, or do anything that was anything beyond saying, actually, we're women, this is our language, you don't get to use it, you don't get to take it. And for that, what? I'm booed in a meeting. I'm treated with disdain. I'm told when my children's pictures are posted online everywhere that it's my fault for saying something in the first place. I'm told that when those men send me pictures of their rather small penises, that there's something that I've asked for. There's a bargain here, and I'm getting something in answer to something that I've done. And then when we say, well, we'd like to come and speak about what's happening to women and children in schools, the police go, well, go on then, you try it. We're not going to bother. We're not going to bother. We're not going to come and protect you. You just try speaking, and then we'll all sit back and watch the men, the perverts in dresses, surround you and make you feel afraid, and we'll just stand there and going, well, everyone's got a right to speak. Yeah, everyone except us. Everybody except us. And can I just say, Nottingham, please, if we were a group of blokes that maybe voted UKIP, if we were a group of blokes that maybe was in, I don't know, Wolverhampton Wanderers football kits, on match day, would we still have been not able to have police protection when we wanted to speak in the centre of Nottingham? Like, when we try and leave, when we try and get on trains, if we're in like an away kit of some other... What did she say? Is she on our side or not? I couldn't tell. Save them? Is it like save the panda? I don't know. Anyway, if we were an away team coming here in football kit and we were men, we had penises, you know, men, adult males, I think the police might have given us a little bit of a buffer zone and looked after us if the people surrounding us were an opposing football team. But because we have these vaginas, apparently we repel police protection and they don't bother coming. Can I just say to the police, vaginas aren't that dangerous. You can stand close enough to keep us protected. Thanks so much. Who else would like to speak? Yes. Oh, you, and then... Can I just say, individual officers, we know it's not your fault, but your management is shit.
Hello, can you hear me okay? Yeah, lovely. Well, I'm so proud to be here as part of this today. It's quite exciting for me. I've been part of the Turfden movement for quite a few years now, probably since Man Friday sort of days, quite all the way back from there, if anybody remembers that. And it's been an interesting few years. Probably my own personal highlight, as it were, was finding a trans woman threatening to blow up the Spectator magazine, which I ended up having to report to the police, Liverpool police. And he was taken to court and I had to give evidence and he was found guilty. So that was another trans person that was trying to use their trans rights to say that they were a woman, and if people, sorry man, sorry, I mean, you get so used to having to say the right thing at the right time that you forget when you're around people. It's like if anyone remembers the olden days of Twitter, for a long time, if you misgendered on Twitter, you lost your account. So for a long time, a lot of people had to get used to calling he, she's to protect their accounts. And there was some crossover then when those rules stopped, thanks to Elon Musk. So yes, that was one of my highlights. I'm just so proud to be here today, so proud of what Posey Parker and what Let Women Speak have done and what a lot of other women's groups have done. And I hope a lot of the younger women, because it is difficult when you're young to stand up against what you see as social norms, take this on and learn that you can say these things and you shouldn't be afraid. That's all I say.
Someone showed something over there.
Yeah,
Man Friday was
earlier,
great, wasn't it? That was
there
like
was
when Mum's
about
Net was...
10 minutes
I was
ago,
still
I
on
think there
Mum's
were
Net
two of
then.
them stood chatting to the police.
Yeah, I got banned from Twitter for nearly 5 years. Okay.
Yeah, there was, well, I don't
Lady
know.
in that
There was two
amazing
with the
t-shirt,
look like
all
red
available
hair.
at letwomenspeak.org. In fact, I've made it a t-shirt.
I mean, if they're going to come, they'd have come by now, I'd have thought.
Hi, so my name's Bev White and I stood for Party of Women last year, and I just had to say thank you. I would just like to say thank you very much to Kelly J for giving us the opportunity and actually for giving me an insight into how local politics worked. I think because without you setting up Party of Women, I think I had an idea, but I don't think I really had a clue how it was working. And I can't do anything more than encourage you all. You've got to watch your local politicians, because this is from your local parish, district, county, town council, all the way up to your district. And a lot of them now, they're pushing to get unitary authorities. So where they're saying it's going to spread power out, it's actually going to condense it, I think. And what you need to do is, every council has a full council meeting. And for your parish and whatever, it will take an hour and a half. And you really need to start maybe going along and having a look at the notes and asking questions maybe where you can. Because all these people, they're introducing these policies, but they don't really have a clue what they're talking about. And they want to run away from this question. And the only way you're going to get it answered, or get them to think about it, is by pushing it. So because of pushing it in my local town, I've just found this week, well, a couple of weeks ago, I found that I've got, somebody's just set up a Facebook account in my name that's not me. And apparently they posted some racist content. Why have they done that? To smear my name. Who do I think has done it? Well, there's a couple of people that are in the picture, because that account was set up within 2 weeks of me approaching the council in the first opportunity to raise questions about single-sex toilets. And there was a councillor there who asked me where he would go. His friend then called me for hate speech. But I've also had, it was also a day after, then I stood in the town square with a placard saying, "What is a woman?" And the next day this account was set up. So there's lots of people within the town who have thrown slurs at me. Now, our local politicians don't want to talk to me. They've all ignored me. Until last month I went into the council office and I got a hi Bev, and a quick wave across the table. I'm thinking, what the hell is going on here? And then I had a compliment online from somebody who's accused me of hate in the past. And then the interesting thing is, as well as finding this bloke here has set up a Facebook account in my name, I've also found that I'm soft blocked here by this political guy who's saying he supports us. They all support us, but they don't want to listen to us and they don't want this question asked. And unless you get off your asses and ask this question, it's going to carry on. That trans toolkit in your school is there because it's come from your council. And it's come from the top of your council. And those county councils that are having elections next week, why aren't they asking?
And why aren't you asking your county councillor why they're not doing their job? Their job is to challenge the CEOs and the officers that are putting in these shit policies. Why aren't they doing it? Why aren't they questioning it when they're governors of the schools? Because they're too fucking scared. And they're too fucking scared to talk to you. But half of you aren't really doing what you could be doing, and you need to be doing it. And there's elections coming up. And if you don't join Party of Women, then they're going to win. So join them, just to give somebody an arse kicking. And it is giving them an arse. They don't want to talk. So you've got people who don't like you that are trying to silence you. You've got the people who say they're on the same side as you trying to silence you. How are we going to make a way through it? And it's not, you have to do more. These events are brilliant, and thank you again, Posey, for doing it. But we have to do more. You have to challenge. Find a way that fits in with your job and your lifestyle. But actually, it's fucking fun. I'm not interested in playing games and watching the game playing that's going on. It is so fascinating. But they will all cover each other's backs. And when you realise that this politician here is in the Labour Party or the Liberal Democrats, and they can't say anything because that's what their main party is saying, and unless you challenge those main parties, nothing is going to change. We have to get off our arses and start motivating each other and challenging everything, because otherwise we're still going to be here in 5 years' time and nothing much is going to have changed. Anyway, that's me. Thank you.
I mean, I say this sometimes, like, if not you, then who? And if not now, then when? And I just want to remind you all, while you were asleep, before maybe 2015 when I was asleep, the councils were peaked, the government was peaked, the police were peaked, they were all peaked on the wrong side. They all decided that these blokes who feel so terribly afraid, they feel so afraid of everything in their lives that they just need to go into women's spaces. That's all they need. These poor men in dresses, they just need to use women's toilets. They just need to show all the young children in the local swimming pool their penis, and then they'll be okay. But otherwise they might commit suicide, and I just don't think they're very good at it. Can I just show everyone at home this? Can you see that, Mary? And it says, "He will never be a woman, no matter how much Friar tucks." Wonderful, isn't it? Let me remind you, whilst you're not standing for election, and whilst you're not helping women in Party of Women stand for election, let me just tell you what the main parties are saying. Pretty much nothing about this. Kemi Badenoch might have said something since she was leader of the Conservatives, and let's face it, Conservatives put all these policies in place. They're the reason that your daughter doesn't have a private space in schools. They're the reason that in hospital there are AGPs absolutely riddled throughout the NHS. Now, it's bad enough that there are men in women's wards pretending to be women. Like, that's pretty bad. But when it's your doctor or your nurse that's coming to treat you, when it's a man working in A&E with a very, very wide face, when it's a man working in A&E pretending to be a woman, treating patients, teenage girls, elderly women, or just someone that just doesn't fancy playing along, the NHS endorses him and his right above everybody else that he may encounter on a daily basis. There are men working in hospitals who call themselves women who are listening out for the word chaperone so they can go and be there when a woman has an internal exam. Why does he want to do that? Because it's the most sexually arousing thing he can do. Invade a woman's space, totally evaporate her boundaries. Knowing that he's definitely not wanted there. Because that's exactly where he most wants to be, the place where he can cause the most discomfort to a woman. And we can all pretend that actually they're just trying to live their lives. They're really not. They're trying to ruin yours. of the whole fetish, part of the little tick, is did I make a woman uncomfortable today? Because if I did, that's a bonus day for me. And I think we all just, all too often, even women that know, we're frightened to say this, but what sort of man wants to come in a woman's space where he knows it makes her uncomfortable? I mean, it's not a good man, is it? It's not a good person. If I went to change in a swimming pool and there was a group of teenage girls and it was a communal changing room, I'm not going to change in that changing room because it would make them feel uncomfortable. But he will. That's the place that he most wants to be. So I just want to remind us that actually these men are manipulative and malevolent. That's part of the fetish, is to make women feel afraid and uncomfortable and to erode other people's boundaries. That is the biggest duper delight smile that you will ever see on these men's faces. Narcissism is absolutely inextricably linked with transgenderism. Whether it's women pretending to be men or men pretending to be women, narcissism is a common and a motivating factor in all of their fantasy and fetish. Okay, who else would like to speak? Yes, Marie.
I travelled here from London today because I was so incensed at what I saw happen last time, what I've seen and experienced happen in different parts of the country, and I very much agree with this strategy that if the police don't do their job in keeping with the public order legislation that we have, then we need to keep coming back, we need to keep giving them a headache. Now that I'm here, I have a wee poem I'd like to recite. It's called Trans Rights Are Human Rights. Yeah, no, seriously. Trans rights are human rights, as if we didn't know that empty slogan shouted at us everywhere we go. But what they never tell us is what the hell they mean. What rights don't they have? And why are they so keen to shut us up and get into our spaces and into our sports? Are they trying to erase us? Of course they are. But trans rights are human rights, and that's all that matters. And if we deny it, they'll try to batter us. And if we ask them what rights are they lacking, instead of an answer, they'll keep on attacking us and keep on pretending that they are oppressed because they can't get in places where girls are undressed. Now, I've been called a fossil, a hag, a nasty old bag, a moron, a Karen, a pasty-faced gammon, a Nazi, a crone who'll die all alone. I look like a plumber. I'm all out of shape. I'm a worn-out old whore, too ugly to rape. But trans rights are human rights. Woman is just a feeling, a performance, an inconvenient cotton ceiling, while trans rights means the right to aggress us, the right to putz around in a dress, the right to ignore our sex-based protections and get in our spaces and get in some affection. No, trans rights aren't human rights. They're just an excuse they use to give us abuse. They're not progressive. They're bullies and liars who can't cope with the truth, that the truth never dies. And the truth is that we don't care what they're saying, because we are saying no, and we are not obeying.
Okay, who else would like to speak? Just me? Oh, good. So we are gathered here today to say to Nottingham Police, did you want to speak? Are you coming forward to speak? Yeah? Come on then.
Hello everybody. I came to this event last time when the police let us down. I was so shocked. You see these things online and I've never seen such deranged, horrible people in my life, and I'm keeping it alive, that's all I'm going to say. On the way walking up to the police station, I actually got shoved in the back by one of them. And it was only for a bus stop that I didn't end up falling on the floor, which would have been highly embarrassing. But I want to do a call out to all the men out there, all the real men. You have mothers, wives, daughters. What do you think is going to happen to these ladies if we don't stand up and kind of fight for their rights now? We need the men to stand up and say no as well, and not just go along with it. I think that's all I wanted to say, short and sweet.
Okay, I'm going to give you some practical tips about what you can all do. I'm going to start with you penis havers. Unfortunately, even in 2025, and I'd like this not to be true, but it is true, women's voices have this thing that happens when they leave our mouths to going into the ears of somebody else. They turn into something that means they cannot be heard. They sort of disappear into silence as soon as they leave our faces. And when we say what our concerns are, people just, I think they do this. And people just don't hear us. It's a funny language thing. But men, your voices, they formulate in your throats, nice and deep. They leave your faces, they travel through the ether, and they land like serious suggestions and concerns into the ears of people in positions of authority. So, if you have children in school, men, please don't leave it to your wives or your children's mothers to go and ask questions about what they're learning. Pick up the phone, make an appointment, and go in. And say to your school teachers, what are you teaching my children about LGBT inclusion? What books do you have in the library? Please don't leave it to your wives, because when you ask that question, guess what? You'll be told the answer. And when you say, oh no, not my daughter, you'll be listened to. And I speak from experience. My daughter was having to change when she was 10. They wanted her to change in a classroom with boys. Now some of these girls were experiencing puberty. It was not appropriate to get those girls to be changing in a classroom for PE in front of boys who apparently couldn't see through some chairs stacked on a table. Now, I'm not saying the boys are wrong, I'm just saying they're curious and they quite like looking through the chairs. So I said to the teacher, what provisions do you have for my daughter? Twice. My husband said it once. She was given a whole other room to get changed in. He phoned again and he said, well, what about the other girls, you cretins? And they got moved as well, so then the girls were allowed to change in an area without boys. But up until that point, it was like I just said, oh, whiny, whiny, whine, whine. I'm not a serious person. Why don't you just discount everything that I say? Also, it's very sad to say this, but some teachers are liars. They will lie about what is happening to your children and what they're being told at school. So I visited a school with a parent, with two safeguarding leading officers in the school, who were both very experienced teachers, although one did admit she'd had a brain injury. But she was a very serious, long-standing teacher, and they both said that they weren't teaching gender ideology in schools. And so I said, well, how did this book about crayons and about gender identity, how did that get into school? And they were like, oh yeah, but some schools. And I said, no, seriously, who chose that book? Well, it was the No Outsiders programme we belonged to. And all throughout the school were rainbows. Now I want to talk to the female police officers who are here. Let me just tell you, you don't have to have a unisex communal space in your police station where you change. You can insist on single-sex spaces. It is your legal right. And can I just say to all police officers here, you don't have to follow orders when it comes to whether or not you look after and protect women in your city, or whether you pretend that a man with a penis in a dress is a vulnerable minority. You don't have to go along with the absolute crazy insanity of a pride parade where you after all pretend to wear a rainbow lanyard and think that it's a fun day out. You don't have to do that. That's not part of your employment contract. And actually, if you start kicking up a fuss and doing something about it, then maybe your police force won't be so shit. And to teachers in a staff room, every time you say silent, when they are going to erode the rights of girls in your school, you are complicit. And I know we should all say, oh, poor teachers, poor university professors, look what they have to put up with. But they are the difference. They are the final safeguard between this ideology impacting students and pupils and children in school and it not. So I don't feel that much sympathy for them, I'm afraid. I really don't. They have plenty of opportunity to say no, and they have chosen to say silent. So, when that university lecturer is sitting in that room and watching their entire department turn into insane peddlers of insane ideology, then they have a chance to say no. They had a chance a decade ago to say no. They had a chance 5 years ago. The silence that they sit and they're prepared to take just breeds and spreads until nobody can speak. So, we came here today to say, you ready? No woman has a penis! No man has a vagina! There's no such thing as non-binary! And transitioning children is profound abuse. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. If you can speak and demand that you have the permission to speak, that you create the space to speak, then I promise we will win. If you force these beautiful institutions that want to silence you to pay attention when you speak, then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Why? I can't hear you. Why? Well, because I never lose. Well done, well done. So all the men listening in the building, I feel sorry for your female colleagues, considering you're so upset that you're nearly crying about some women standing outside and speaking in public. I just didn't want them to speak about their rights. So I hope you've all learned something, and when you go home and make your dinner for one, I hope you reflect upon what it is and how you have arrived at a situation that you're living on your own or still with your parents. Can we just give all the men in the building a quick wave? Thanks so much. Misogyny is one hell of a drug.
I think I saw them coming down there and the police kept moving them back.
Well, they posted on Facebook they weren't going to.
Well, there was a few little fringe ones who split off, but the police were moving them away down there by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like there was a few of them that came in there, but police were
They posted on Facebook they weren't going to.
Take care.
Did you see the bloke who pretended to be a workman?
Andrew.
Nice to meet you, mate. Oh, that was good to see you again, what did you say?
Did you see the bloke pretending to be a workman?
Yellow gear on,
He was down there, I knew I've seen him. Yeah.
Alright, take care then.
See you later.
What did you think of the speech, guys? Did you listen? Not really, no. Too busy looking after. We're in. Go back to Rafa.
Cheers.
No, walk away there. I'm standing there talking about something, right? Sorry, no, stop it. Mate, I was looking for a red key.
Maybe no, calm down.
Back off, mate. I'll break
That's clever, isn't it? In front of the police station.
We have got our right to privacy. You are exploiting it.
If he doesn't want filming, don't film it.
Public place.
Exactly. So he said he doesn't consent.
Public place.
So
I can film anyone in the public place.
so why would you though? Get a personality.
The story on the police page.
You're not. You're harassing these people who've asked you to leave them alone. Those people asked you to leave them alone.
Well, it's a public place.
So doesn't mean you can harass people.
I'm not harassing anyone.
Yes, you are.
He was filming the police station.
You were filming those people that asked you not to film
They
them.
happen to be
Stop
in my
filming
shot.
me as well, you piece of shit. Why are you fucking here,
Sorry.
you stupid twat?
Police! She just assaulted him. Sorry. She assaulted him, I've recorded it. Sorry.
So they just assaulted her. He just assaulted her.
No, you just made a false line.
Video, you went for her first.
Live. Good luck on that one.
It's on 3 cameras, you. It's on yours.
Yeah. Yeah, good luck on that. She went up to him.
You can't cover a story here without you're going to prison.
I don't think so, mate.
It's Can't even come up.
You made
She
the
twisted my
threat.
camera.
Yeah, we've got it on film.
Twisted my camera.
Yeah, I recorded it.
I like the camera. You didn't realise that, right? I'm giving the story, if I've done that before, I can't even do that. Explain what I'm doing now.
No way, I filmed her. She can't. Yeah. Yeah, no way, I recorded it. And you can't complain about us filming if you're filming us. Oh dear. Oh dear, dear, dear. Yay, dear. Sorry.
I don't want that guy filming me.
Yeah. Everyone's filming. She's very violent.
Can I ask him not to film him? Then he pushed me.
Then
So he's allowed to touch me, is it? I want to press charges against his assault.
Listen, you can't stop him filming.
But I asked him not to film me politely, and then he took places his hand on me.
I'll speak to him there about that.
I've got loads of people with their camera on me. I'm not comfortable. Please get them to stop. This is embarrassing. Can you arrest him for assault, please?
If that's what the sentence happens,
Yeah,
I actually will take a report when you're inside, okay?
Have you got footage of what happened with Mike there? Yeah? So
Yeah,
if the police
shut
ask to
down.
see it, just show it to them.
yeah, it's on live anyway.
What I'm saying, if the police ask to see it, just to clear Mike, sort of just show it to them.
Is she on the trans side, I'm guessing?
Yeah,
She called us a Nazi, so I'm guessing she's on the trans side.
Yeah, that's what she was, I think she was coming here to stir up trouble. That's what she did.
Yeah. That just made the footage. So it's dead. It was dead, wasn't it? And we've got Emma who's got a new channel. I think she's going to have a shock how many views she gets.
What a punch me in the face.
I know, I've recorded it.
Well, she's been arrested now anyway, so...
I'm surprised they did. Maybe she said something to him because I don't know what she got arrested for.
Fair play to Nottinghamshire police, they've done it properly.
Oh, he's going to show the footage.
Yeah.
I'll stand over here in case he starts to...
She got assaulted, yeah.
Oh, he's giving witness statement. It's good this, isn't it? He's flagging it now. If you look behind you, he's giving a statement, trying to get us all into trouble. Yeah. I think they're from two of the women from, I presume they're from the pro-trans side, came down. One, they were whinging that to try to stop him filming somebody. Then she assaults him, then tried to flag it that she was assaulted, even though they got 15 cameras filming. The police have arrested her, which I'm surprised because she was just chatting to him, put the handcuffs on, then her mate kicked off and then assaulted him, and they're trying to play victim, but the thing is, when there's so many cameras filming them, it's tough. But
you all got it on camera though,
yeah, I mean he's got it on full. There's like about, he's got his goes on and everything.
Sorry mate, it's very loud.
Your battery here?
Yeah, this is on its like they're all on the last slides. Don't get arrested, I need to go home.
No, she's getting arrested.
I know.
Both of them. Well, to be fair, one of them's got arrested for a trick at peace, and one of them could be arrested if I asked them to.
Why don't you? Just push
Well,
it.
because it's a...
She tried to get you
It's a
next.
pain in the arse. And I think a dispersal order clears them out of the city for 24 hours. I'll be gone by then.
Yeah.
No problem at all. I don't have to come back. But I'm asking for an apology, so she might come out and apologise.
Okay, we'll see.
Trans protesters, what the trans values?
The thing is, you've got the market in the market, it's really putting shows up. I do appreciate that. You can't really go out, access to that. So if you get to the ground,
Yeah, that's where they all gather about the brown patch. There's always something going on, isn't there? Yeah.
Well, the issue is,
You only just turned up?
yeah, I live up the road, mate.
Lazy sod.
I live up the road, I didn't even know it was happening. And I just thought, you know what, I'll come into town to meet me.
Can you get to Birmingham?
Birmingham.
Yeah, there's a massive protest there at 6.
When's that?
Today.
Oh, I'm not doing it today, mate. I just normally do the little videos, man. I don't really, I cover protest, I cover anything, you know what I mean? Like, you've seen doing this, and then she's easy getting out of the field in a shot.
Have you caught the counter protesters at the bottom? They might have gone.
Nearly be getting filled in just for having this.
You think we're in North Korea, don't they? You can't film it, you can wear the shirt and blue hair. And even eggs. I don't get that. I'm only joking. Yeah, leave me alone, guys. I'll be back. You know what I do when I come in here? Destroy you.
Yeah, you've been in here a couple of times, haven't you, Andy? Take it easy, Andy. Have a good mate. Andy Public. She's been arrested. One of them made a false allegation against Mike. So it's all happened. You've all seen most of it on camera.
You know what, it's quite sad, and he's been in his chuck straight away, and this man got knocked up.
He's alright, that's
He was last time as well, very nice guy.
No, lucky that's Sergeant Jew, really, I'd say, because he's a good...
Well, I mean, to be fair, all I was going to do was right at the end,
Well,
it wouldn't be an end of the world. I asked him some pretty strong questions last time as well, and he answered them all, and he was very nice, and he was a very pleasant guy.
said to him, I said, you know, if you're making a first name email, it's something else to contact.
You have to be a victim, didn't you? You have to be a victim, so you're not going to get.
Yeah, just a form of contact, really, so they can contact you.
You don't want to be victim. Probably somebody decided that the process, isn't it?
But then, when they email you, then you give them the email. That's what they've done by reporting to the Alex, and they actually dealt with it. Oh, Wes. Oh, Wes, you won't believe it. We got me and Mike's just got us something here.
I saw the end of it.
I saw a push back like that. Mike sort of whipped out of the way like that. And then they arrested the woman who was talking to me. The guy who was talking to me. Yeah, I was literally, when I was doing it first, I was sort of covering the story before. Be good. This guy came up with me, like friendly. And I'm like, get back. Came up trying to run my camera.
Yeah.
Big hard comes out. Take care, guys.
See you
Have a good
later.
one.
Still here, I haven't even here 20 minutes, still here. And you know what's got the body here as well? Pakistan support.
I know, I don't see what it's got to do with Palestine, is it? Yeah, folks, we might head back up to Speaker's Corner and just end off the video sort of where we started it. So we'll put this back up here. Rental. Yeah, I've seen. Is that the thing when they, what time did I come before? I came around December plans before tonight, and then I have my Christmas plans to sit.
That one as well, there's a process of it. You know what I mean?